I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Hanami Lillie joins us. Hi, Lillie.
Hello, Hanami. Nice to be here.
Hey, please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hanami, everyone. I am an apothecary from another world, now an idol in training, Hanami Lillie. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, well, appreciate you coming on. Now, how did you get started with content creation?
I have been a content creator in general since the beginning of YouTube. My parents are musicians. They have always had like a band. And when YouTube started, when I was a little kid, they introduced me to YouTube, and I said, I want to do that. And they said, okay. And so I did a bunch of like little animations and things like that.
Wow.
And so I've done a lot of things on YouTube for a very long time. I've done animations, I've done utaite, like song covers, I've done dance covers, I've done a lot of things. But as far as becoming a streamer, VTuber, I only started last year. I joined Irium as a VTuber, and everything happened from there. That really changed my life.
Well, you basically grew up with YouTube.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. I really did. YouTube in general has been like such a big part of my life, I feel.
Yeah.
And I kind of can't imagine not making YouTube content specifically. Like, I can't really imagine leaving the platform. I know a lot of people talk about like, you know, Twitch or TikTok being like the next big thing, or like wanting to leave or not focus on YouTube. But for me, YouTube has always been like the goal, like the golden standard.
Yeah. But that's been there for so long, for one thing. And
right.
I found it thankfully easy for an old man to upload to over these last couple of years. I didn't have to learn, wasn't a big learning curve for me to do that sort of thing. But for you, I mean, you've done so many different things now with it. How did you decide to settle on doing some streaming as a VTuber? Or was it just something you hadn't tried yet?
So the story is kind of fun. I've liked VTubers for a long time. You know, since I'd say like 2019, 2020, I've been a fan of VTubers. I'm a really big fan of idols in general. I've been a big idol fan since I was, I don't know, 8 or 9, I think is when I discovered Japanese idols, and I've always really loved them, and that was like my goal. And so there was a period of time where I was performing as what they call a Kaigai idol, so an overseas idol. So, you know, using my real face and body, writing original songs and performing at events and things. And there's a lot of overlap between like what you do as an idol and what a lot of VTubers do in terms of like covers and writing music and things. So I had thought about becoming a VTuber, and I had done some auditions, and obviously like I love playing video games. I think a lot of people my age, my generation do. I'd thought about becoming a VTuber. I had done some auditions and they never went anywhere, and I kind of just let that die there. I didn't think about it much after that. But then when Irium was first starting, when Irium was born, I'm very close friends with fellow founding streamer Otoharu Rio. We are real life friends. We have been friends for many years, and he was one of the first debuting talents from Irium, and it was him coming to me and saying, you know, Irium is looking for talents. I think that you would be perfect for it. If you're interested, I think you should audition. And I had actually just lost my like day job, and so I had a lot of time as well. This was back in December of 2024, and so I said, I'll give it a try. You know, I had wanted to be a VTuber, and I'll give it a go. So I wrote in an application, and then it was written on the forum that they would get back to you within 2 weeks. You know, pretty standard. But I got a response asking for an interview in about 8 hours. And so I said, "Oh, absolutely."
Yeah.
And then I did the first interview, and they liked me, and they said, "Okay, you'll hear back within about 2 weeks." And it was because it was a Japanese company. The time zones are a little bit different, right? So it
Right.
was an interview that was in my time quite late at night. I think it was like 8 or 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And so I went to sleep, and then I woke up to an email from them. So it was about 6 hours responding and saying, "We really like you. We'd like for you to come for a second round interview." So
What?
it all happened very, very fast. And I was really not convinced that they would like me as much as they did. Rio was 100% convinced.
Yeah.
He very much said, like, "You will get in. If you're interested, just apply. You will become a
Yes.
VTuber." And I was like, "Well, I don't think I'm like that talented. I'm not really sure." I didn't have a lot of self confidence, but clearly they saw something in me, and it happened very fast. And I'm really happy with it. I'm happy to be here. I've had a
A-
great time.
Absolutely.
I hit my 1 year anniversary last week, and so it's
Congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Now, something we definitely learned from that is in Japan, 2 weeks means about 5 hours.
Yeah. I mean, it's very, very prompt. I know, Japanese culture very, very considerate, but that was so fast. I've never had a job interview of any sort have a response that fast before, so it was
Well,
great.
I have, but it was more like, please shut the door behind you.
Oh,
It
oh,
came that
true.
fast.
Yeah.
That's how fast it went. But so you were writing songs that early and making original songs and
So original songs I started writing in like middle school. They weren't good. They were very bad.
uh,
But yeah, I would find royalty free songs, like royalty free um
back,
instrumental songs,
yes.
and I would write a top line melody for them and write lyrics for them. Um Problem being, I wrote them in Japanese, but I had no knowledge of Japanese sentence structure. I only knew vocabulary.
Oh no.
So so they made no sense. So that's why they were very, very bad. That's part of the reason why. So they're awful. They don't, they don't make any sense.
Toaster husband box
um,
top, it says. I don't know what it means.
yeah, it was just really awful. But then I sort of, that was quite young. That was like middle school. And then I sort of dropped that idea, for a while. And then I later, as an adult, released 2 original songs in English that were better. And now I studied Japanese in university. I know more sentence structure. I'm confident in my, in my language speaking abilities. I'm sure when I write a song now, if I choose to write it in Japanese, it will be fine. But the sentence structure needs to be correct.
Oh my gosh. Now, just between you and me, are they somewhere on the internet I can find them?
They are.
Now I know
They're
what I'm
still
doing for the
out
rest of the
there.
weekend.
They are still out there. It's really funny. I recently looked up because I was like, I know what the old account name was, and I
Yeah.
looked it up, and it was like, oh, those are still up there. Oh no.
Oh my. It's like
Thankfully, I mean, there's no real connection to me, but
until
I
now.
mean, until that, some people have said I have a recognizable voice, but I think it's only people who are like very regular watchers of me who think that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a concern, but a small part of me is like, what if someone someday like randomly comes across this? Because I did have one viewer who is now a mod of mine come across my old Kaigai Idol songs, and so he just knows who I am. Like, he has seen my face. He just knows who I am, which is fine because I knew that would happen eventually if I chose to not like private
Yeah.
anything, which I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So that's fine with me, but it was like it happened way faster than I expected. It was like, like 4 months in.
Suddenly they became the CEO of your corporation.
Pretty much,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that was certainly part of why it was like, well, when I opened mod applications and he applied, I was like, well,
You're,
you already know what I look like and
yes.
where I live vaguely, so I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that's you're a good choice.
It's refreshing to hear somebody who was confident enough at that young an age to not just. I mean, there aren't that many people who can say that they composed a song at that age. Even though even though closed captioning would be very interesting to see from the song,
Oh
um,
gosh.
but still, I mean that takes some backbone to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Did you evidently you didn't have much problem getting up there and showing off what you could do?
Yeah, I don't know if the thing is I've always struggled a lot with confidence and with self-esteem, but I also have always had the opinion of if you want to do something, you should try it at least once.
Mm,
And so I've always wanted to do music. Like I said, my parents are musicians. And I have sort of felt like not pressure from them. They
right.
don't pressure me, but just it's sort of internal pressure to also do music, and I love music.
Yeah.
And so I kind of always wanted to make something. But it does mean I also had to develop kind of a tough skin because I was a kid on the internet producing some absolutely garbage songs that really shouldn't have existed at all. So I
Uh,
did have to develop kind of a resistance to that. But I do think that makes me much stronger now, I will say.
well, that is and we're talking middle school, which
Mm,
can be a very emotionally crushing time for
yeah.
people growing up. I can tell people that for absolute certainty. As a matter of fact,
Yes.
it's not very easy at all to do this sort of thing. But you're putting yourself out there, and that to me would make going on as a VTuber a piece of cake.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
It's interesting too because I sometimes look at applications for agencies and things, and I saw one recently that had a question that said like um how would you handle like hate and pressure online? And to me it's like there's no problem there. Like I just don't I'm really not bothered. I mean, I've heard it all at this point. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. The amount of things that I've done, the amount of different things I've done, like I've done cosplay, I've done music, I've done like vlogs, I've done tutorials, I've done so many different things over the years. Like I've seen all sorts of hate and it just kind of doesn't really affect me that much anymore. Like, I mean, sure, it can sting a little bit, but like, I'm
Well,
not bothered.
every once in a while, something's going to catch you between the eyes, and that's just
Yeah.
that's human. That's going to happen to
Yes.
you. You can't put the barrier up for everything, but when you kind of realize where a lot of it is coming from and
Mm,
the reasons behind it, so much of it is jealousy.
yeah.
Um, and it not necessarily, even if you don't think what you're doing is particularly good, someone is mad at you just because you did it and they didn't.
Yeah. The fact that you put yourself out there, they might just be jealous that you had the courage to start and they don't.
Absolutely, yeah, and
Hmm.
and they're frustrated themselves. Maybe they have 16 songs that they've written that they're never going to show anybody or or
Right.
or do, and that's too bad for them. You showed that courage to do it, and but when you take that and put that out for somebody else to see, that's a huge mountain for a lot of people. Um, it would be insurmountable for me.
Mm.
It wasn't any problem for you at all.
I think Have you ever heard people say it's a lot easier to learn a language as a child
Oh yes.
and it's a lot harder when you're an adult? I think this might be similar. I think that because I started when I was younger and I started with just the pure motivation
There.
of I
That's
want to do
use
this.
that one in Scrabble.
And
Yes.
yeah, I started with pure innocence in my heart of I want to do this,
Yeah.
not really realizing that hatred and like internet trolls even existed. I think that that might be part of why it was easy for me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I had those goals and those dreams, even once I experienced that hatred, my desire and my passion was just strong enough to outweigh that. But that being said, if I had never done any of that, if I had never uploaded anything, if I had never been a content creator when I was younger, I'm not sure if I could start now for the first time because I don't know if I am actually like a strong enough person to do it. I agree with you. That is really scary to do.
Yeah.
Putting yourself out there that way is really scary.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. And you can, and it doesn't always transfer from one medium to another.
yeah.
Like I was perfectly fine with speaking on the radio to 100 to 1,000 people at college football games and stuff. I was fine. Put me in a room with 10 people trying to talk to people that they could see me, and that was a different
Mm,
story. That's
yeah.
I don't want to see you. I want you to see
Yeah.
me. Um,
It's completely different. Yeah.
yeah, and when you start with VTubing, you start in with Irium, which is a different animal than
Mm.
what a lot of VTubers are doing. Although there's more and more Irium folks every day. I was going to try to catch them all like Pokemon, but you keep multiplying.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I'm not that fast to keep up with that sort of thing. The It's a different type of thing. It's not your streaming a game type of thing. You're keeping up conversations with so many people at once. You have to and you have to be on the ball. Did you find that a little daunting at first when you started it?
At first, definitely. Yeah. And I agree with you. Yeah, there's not like a game to bounce off of.
Yeah.
If you don't have something to say, there might just be an awkward silence because there's nothing to bounce off of. Um, and I think that that can be the hardest part of Irium is if you find that you don't know what to say, if you don't have like for example background music playing or if you're not doing an activity,
Right.
if you are just chatting, that could be really awkward. And I do have those moments, but not too often, thankfully. I am like a yapper. I'm able to kind of jump from thing to thing. I also do have ADHD, so
Well,
it does help for me to just be able to pull any story from the back of my mind,
yes.
um,
Yeah.
and just say like, "Oh, the other day I saw this squirrel on the road," and
On September
so
18th,
sometimes,
September 18th, 2013, I did this.
yes, no, for real though, that is, I do think that that is helpful.
Yeah.
Um, I will say I decided to start streaming on Irium and also YouTube on the same day. I did want to stream gaming,
Yeah.
as well, and so I did both pretty much from the start.
Yeah.
And Irium does encourage you, or well, the founding streamers program does encourage you, or did encourage you to do whatever you would like,
Mhm.
more or less. Like if you wanted to take your model and stream on Twitch or YouTube and play games, you can do that and they have no problem with it so long as you're fulfilling your contractual obligations to Irium. So as long as you're
Right.
streaming enough time on Irium and spending time on Irium,
Right.
which I know some places don't want you to do. Some places wanted you to only stream on their app or with them
Yeah.
and not go anywhere else. But I personally really like that Irium encourage that because I think that that's where a lot of the growth comes from. A lot of the growth for Irium as well is
Yeah. Yeah.
the streamers pulling people from other places. But
Exactly. Yeah. It's a little different way of looking at it, but and I think by the fact that it is a little different way, it's more enticing to people.
I agree, yeah. But for me, as far as Ethereum streams, I tend to have them centered around a topic a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I will go into it saying like, okay, today we're going to talk about seasonal anime that's coming out, or I'm going to talk to you about like here are all of the books I've read recently, or things like that. So having a topic to fall back on, I find helps. I also do a lot of karaoke streams where obviously if I do stop in between songs to talk, but if I find I've run out of things to talk about, I just play another song. So it's easier.
Quick, play me out.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, okay, I have nothing to say. We're just going on. We're moving on.
That's right.
Um, there was one time where I found out, you know, those like silly national holidays where they say like, oh, it's National Pancake Day, it's National whatever.
Yeah.
I found out it was National Nylon Stocking Day, and I decided to do like a whole presentation on nylon stockings. I uploaded like the VOD of it to YouTube because I found it so fun. I just like did a research paper like a little nerd. Because I love that stuff. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about nylon and the history of stockings in general. I thought it was cool. But for me, I don't tend to just jump on with no plan.
Yeah.
I'm always like doing something or wanting to talk about something specific. Although I guess there are times where I do say like, oh, we're co-working, so I'll be working on a project and you guys hang out.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, you still got your focus is on both things really as you're doing things.
Yeah.
It's so tough, and people in radio will eventually have this happen, where you have 2 minutes to fill and nothing to fill it with.
Yeah.
Time to talk in circles.
Mm-hmm.
And blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah. You say the same thing again in a different way, and you say the same thing in a different way. You learn that sort of thing as you go. Otherwise, you are toast. You really are. Irium has this where you kind of learn on the fly. Otherwise, you just have dead air time.
Yeah,
which nobody really wants.
I think radio has it slightly harder because at least with Irium, I have chatters to play off of.
Yeah, and
I mean, ideally,
there was nothing worse when I was doing the talk shows to have an open line and no calls.
Oh, yes. And that I feel really bad now that Irium is opening up a lot more. I know a lot of the newer streamers struggle to get an audience, and I can't imagine how uncomfortable that will be to start streaming and have nobody. I mean, there are times where I start streaming and I only have like one of my mods, you know?
Yeah.
Like I have one viewer, but even then at that point it's like, well, we're just hanging out, I guess.
Yeah.
And so it's not completely uncomfortable for me, but having completely dead air time is it can be really uncomfortable. And then at least for me, my brain starts like spiraling. It's like, oh, I'm doing a bad job. I should quit. I'm a bad streamer.
Turn in all your equipment, turn everything off, and go from there. It really can play on you. Get into your mind, and then starts. And you said it exactly right. A spiral. It's the death spiral of going on the air with nothing. And if you don't have that ability to fill the time, grab a some people used to in the old days of records, they would have to go and hit a network news from their network at exactly 0:00:00 at the top of the hour. So when they were playing records, it didn't always add up to 0:00 at the top of the hour.
Right.
So they would throw on an instrumental song or a song they could fade out very easily. Then they cheat. Is what they were doing.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I mean, there's ways to get around it, but you still have to. Sooner or later, you're going to have to talk your way out of it.
And I think not everyone has that skill, unfortunately.
No. I know some people who just be in there going,
Yes, yeah. And I think that kind of is the truth of VTubing as well. Like, since there was people talk about, like, quote unquote the VTuber boom,
Uh-huh.
and how, it blew up and so many people want to become VTubers and streamers. But I think not everybody can be.
Right.
I think it sounds really harsh, but I think, like, there are a set of skills that come with being an entertainer, and it's the same with not everyone can do radio.
Right.
I'm not sure if I could do radio,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Well,
they're just
I'm sure you could.
there's
I would give you every opportunity to not make any money if I was still hiring.
yeah.
You would hate
Well,
me.
that's not much different than now.
Yeah, you would hate me for the rest of your life, and that would be
No.
that would be very easy to do. But the um, went to a class for radio. I got an associate's degree in radio,
Mm,
and there were people in that class who were never going to get a job in radio because
yeah.
you have to have absolutely you have to have a good voice for radio, a
Yes.
decent voice. Mine is different, so I was lucky there. Um, but you also have the personality to do it. Otherwise, you're going to end up on PBS. And this coming up next on PBS
Yes.
is yeah, you'll get that job. It actually pays more to do that actually, um,
That makes sense.
but you'll end up not being a frontline announcer. But there were people who could not talk, and
Yeah.
they wanted to be DJs. Like, okay, you're paying your money to take your chances. I think it's a little different with streaming in a way because not everybody that is streaming is doing it to be super successful.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, and everybody who's in radio wanted to make money, which you weren't going to do, but you're still going to do it anyway. Um, but in streaming, I think you're going to have in the future uh, people who are doing it full time for a job or at
Hmm.
least try to get some rent paid, and you're going to have people who do it once a month.
Yeah,
And if you're just doing it to have fun, then have fun.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about having an $8 million microphone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the people who want to do it as a hobby completely go for it, have fun,
Yeah,
do whatever you want. I think that, yeah, there are a lot of people who want to make it a career and unfortunately may not have
yeah,
the personality for it,
yeah,
I guess.
yeah,
There was one tweet I saw once that really actually irritated me. Someone, a popular VTuber, I can't remember who, had said something along the lines of, like, you have to make clips for short form content to get popular. That's, like, the most important thing you can do right now, blah, 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 algorithms, whatever.
yeah.
And one of the comments said, like, well, what do I do if I think that all of my content is boring? If, like, I can't talk? And they said, like, well, you have to create moments that are clippable then. Like, you have to say things that are interesting. You have to, like, maybe there's moments if you're playing a game that you're, like, raging or,
Yeah.
you're making people laugh, whatever. And they said, like, well, I just don't think I'm a funny person. I don't think I'm an entertaining person. And it really bothered me because it's like, well, you're trying to make it as an entertainer.
Yes.
You have to be entertaining. That's the definition of the job.
Yeah. If you want to progress, you have to progress.
Yes. And, like, I mean, there are people who make it really big who don't do the same things, who aren't like, haha, hilarious. They're not making jokes all the time.
Yeah.
They're making, different styles of content that is maybe more subtle, more quiet,
Yeah.
more relaxed. There's so many different flavors of
Yeah.
content creation,
Yeah.
but all of them are entertaining in a way.
Right.
So,
Right. And here's the thing too. You don't necessarily have to have the greatest voice
no.
to be on it, but you do have to have the personality to do it.
Yeah.
And the people, I always put in that there'll be 1,000 people playing Minecraft on whatever platform. You'll come back to the person playing Minecraft whose personality you like.
Yes.
And it's like the old radio days. You could hear the same song on 3 different stations in the same market. You came back to the station for the personality of the person playing the song.
That makes sense. Yeah.
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 So there is I actually use that as a bit of a parallel, among other things, between old DJs and current DJs. You guys are the new DJs. Congratulations. The it is you still have to be able to if you want to be a money making successful person, you have to have that magnetism one way or another, charisma, uh, however however way you do it. Your mileage may vary with all that stuff, but if you just come on to have fun, and you're it's not you maybe something happens, great. If not, I'm still having fun. Go for it. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Don't spend your life savings on it. But
Yes.
it's there's nothing wrong with that. There are plenty of people who who you know, used to who now can DJ themselves on the internet. They don't have to go take a course. They can just have their own show on the internet. They could do interview shows. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I did I just did I just throw myself under? Yes, I did throw myself under the bus. That's okay. I'm used to it. I've got so many tire tracks. Um, there's with what you're doing here. I'm kind of thinking as is it's just another arena for you to conquer.
It does almost feel that way when you put it that way. Yeah. I
Yeah.
hadn't thought about it, but I do really like the challenge. I didn't really mention it. I said I had done cosplay, but I was actually a competitive cosplayer.
Well,
I did competitions for many years, and I won a lot of awards doing that.
mad props to you for that, because
Thanks.
that's a lot more work than anybody give you credit for.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I still intend to do some competitions here and there, but not nearly as many as I used to, because it is a lot of work, and I do like streaming and intend to continue with this, and this is where a lot of my priority lies,
Yeah.
along with my day job that pays the bills.
Yeah.
But
oh, by the way, there are bills to pay too. Yes.
Yes, there are bills to pay. Yeah. So, but I do really like taking on a challenge. That's actually the main thing that I like about cosplay, is looking at a design and saying, how do I make that? When it's like so impossible, there's impossible gravity, there's pieces that don't make any sense because it's from an animated thing,
right,
or a video game, and thinking, how can I make that reality?
I call that MacGyvering.
Yes, it really is. There are so many things that I've built in ways that the judges thankfully never found out about, because oh boy, was it wrong. Very much MacGyvered, but if it looks fine from the outside, it's okay.
Hey, as long as it looks good, run with it.
Exactly. But I think that's true, is I really do enjoy taking on different challenges, and I think it almost comes down to you know how they talk about like the enrichment of zoo animals, and you have to give them things to do to keep their brains stimulated? I feel almost as if that's what I have to do for myself.
You just compared yourself to a llama.
Sure. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, why not? I mean, I do feel that way though. I was thinking more, I have pet rabbits, and they need to be given like toys and things to make their little brains go.
Yeah, we have 9 cats. So
yeah, exactly.
You better give them something, because their brains will go whether you want them to or not.
Yes.
Point them in a direction.
Yes. Rabbits are the same way. They become a little bit destructive if you don't give them something to do.
Absolutely.
So it feels not that I would become destructive.
No.
I've certainly never had thoughts of arson or anything like that.
No. That's next on the list. On your next screen.
Next thing to conquer, revolution. No, but that's a really good way to put it. Yeah, it's another thing. And VTubing itself, even within VTubing, there are so many challenges and things to work on.
Yeah.
Like making my own music videos has been very fun. I would like to eventually do like a 3D concert. Ooh. That would be very fun.
Yeah.
I like to do a lot of things myself, not only for budget reasons, which obviously is part of it, but also because I like to learn those skills and I like to get my little brain going and figure things out.
obviously you've got that going for you because of everything you made your own. You made your own songs. You made your own
Right.
cosplay. You made.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You made your own everything here.
Yeah.
So why would this be any different? Uh,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. But that says a lot about you, and that you're not going to let anything get in your way.
Right. Yeah. If I really want to do something, I will find a way to do it no
Yeah.
matter what. I do think that that is part of my determination as a person. Yeah.
You. I heard your jaw set when you said that.
Yeah. I mean, it's true though.
I will find a way to do it.
No matter what, you will not stop me.
All you needed was the evil laugh afterwards, and I'd have just thrown
True.
I'd just thrown my 25 cents right in there. All the money I
Oh
have
my
is all
god.
yours.
Thank
Jiminy
you.
Christmas. Well, now that you start off with V2, you got two different ways to do it now. With Irium, it's you and the audience. With
Mhm.
the other types of streaming, you've got games in the audience, and it's a different um, different type of feedback, different type of
Yeah.
interaction. Um, do you feel that difference when you're streaming, or is
Absolutely.
it is completely different for you? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
So with games, it can be a little bit harder because you have to, or at least at the level that I am at, where I'm still a smaller streamer, I have the ability to read comments as I'm playing a game. Obviously, for larger streamers, when the chat comments go by so fast, you couldn't ever read them.
that's
Maybe
right.
they don't even have to pay attention, but
Yeah,
I am fostering a community and I want to read them. So that's part of the part of the difference there is playing a game, looking at comments, reading them out loud, responding to them, and that affecting your gaming experience as well.
hmm
Not only in the sense of sometimes chat will suggest something in a game that you'll try, but also it just changes the pace at which you play and your method of playing. So it's both a different method of streaming and a different method of playing a game. Everything is a bit different.
yeah,
And I do feel that streaming on Ethereum, or I suppose for people who don't stream on Ethereum, just having a what they call Zatsudan, just a talking segment
right,
where you're not doing anything else, is a lot more intimate
yeah,
because there's nothing in between you and your audience. But
yeah.
for me, I definitely feel the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot of different. You that some streamers I notice will lean on the game a little more
Yeah.
in that situation but if you've already got your bona fides in being able to talk to somebody without doing that does kind of change the landscape a little bit, I think,
Yeah.
and certainly gives you a little more options. What are you usually playing in these games?
Oh goodness. I play such a wide variety of things.
Yeah.
Um so let me see. Just recently I finished this game called Kimono Tea Time. Very sweet little game. I don't know if you're much of a
I,
a connoisseur of games at all.
I haven't heard of that one though. What's that
No,
about?
yeah, Kimono Tea Time is what it's called.
Yeah.
But there's I've heard it compared to Valhalla, if you've heard of that one.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's a game where you're running a cafe and your customers will come in and ask for a type of tea and you'll blend it for them, and it's very story based, and it's all about this pandemic, this kimono virus going around, where these characters develop animal ears,
Ah,
and then they develop later on in the virus an animal tail, and then they have like total organ failure and pass away.
oh,
And so it's a game that deals so much with grief and loss and terminal illness, and like how you deal with knowing that you're going to lose someone and different people's relationships with that, how some people completely ignore it and pretend everything is fine, how some people lean into it and really like try to make the most of the time they have.
right.
And it was such a beautiful and heartbreaking game. So sometimes I play things like that.
Yeah.
I also play a lot of smaller indie games. I just like indie games. I played Sonic.
Yeah.
That's not an indie game. That's separate. But
that's very not indie game.
no. I do some horror games, which I feel like surprises people, but I've found that they do decently well.
Yeah.
On my channel views wise.
Yeah.
I jump around a lot. I found that I don't have like a niche. I'm very much a variety streamer, and sometimes I have wondered if I would do better if I had a niche, but it doesn't suit me.
Yeah, I mean, would you gotta walk that line between, would you have short term more people coming in, but then they realize that you're not particularly happy playing that all the time,
right?
And then they drop off because of that, and it's always going to be tougher to bring people back.
Yeah.
Once they leave,
right?
That sort of thing, because they leave for a reason, and that now they have to get over that reason to come back and stay.
They've already decided that they're not interested.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And it's a don't get into marketing things here. Because you talk too much about marketing. I was in radio. That's all we did.
Yeah.
market.
Well, I think a lot of VTubers don't think enough about marketing, though.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, especially if that's what you're looking for.
Right. Yes.
You've got to find your audience, reel them in bring them to your lake, and then hook them.
Yes.
It sounds like fishing. It is fishing. You want to bring them in and keep them in your boat, as much as possible. And there are ways to do that. There are ethical ways. There are non-ethical ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the non-ethical ways will bite you in the end later.
Yes.
When they realize that you bought 10,000 people to come in, and the old VTube, you were on YouTube for a long time. You know about the people buying people to come on and say hello on the shows.
You pay for comments, pay for views. Yeah.
And they all say the same thing. I like this.
Yes.
Thank you. First. That type of thing.
Oh my God, first.
Yes. Yeah. But it all comes back to bite you in the end because you don't have any real growth that way.
Yes. Yeah.
But would you rather have a slow, patient growth as a VTuber, as far as a community goes, or bring in people with events a bunch at a time and try to keep them that way?
I think a small patient growth is better for me because I do genuinely want to have a community. Not just numbers, not just people filling a quota.
Yeah.
I do genuinely want to have people that I know of, if that makes sense.
Right.
So I really appreciate when people chat regularly and I know who they are and I recognize them and I remember them. I have had people on Irium come back and watch a stream of mine after like months, and when I say like, oh, it's been a while, and I remember their name, they're very surprised, but it is because I do actually genuinely care. So if you don't change your username and you come back, I might remember. So it depends. Oh, like there was one, especially if you have a very funny username, there's one user, their username was Waxed Cut Copper Stairs. And it's so memorable. I haven't seen them in months, and I think I've only seen them a total of 3 times over the past year. But that name sticks with me. So I genuinely do try, though, to remember people. So for me, having a big event where there's like a big boom, a big volume of people would be harder to actually know them as people.
Yeah.
And from a marketing standpoint, I would then feel the need to scramble a little bit to figure out exactly what did I do during that event that brought them? What exactly was the appeal? How do I repeat that?
Yeah. And with the events, sometimes it is a flash in the pan.
Yes.
And there's not much you can do about it. It just, sometimes it happens at the moon's in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, and that was perfect. Yep. That's all.
You can't do anything about that. Yeah.
Nope.
I actually, last week, because it was, there was Valentine's Day, but right before that, the day before that, it was Friday the 13th.
Yes.
And it was the day before Valentine's Day. People were, one person jokingly told me, oh, it's Yandere Day. And so I was like, oh, I've had this concept in my mind for like an ASMR type role play for a while, because people in my chat kept saying like, we want Yandere Lillie, and that does not fit me at all. I am a healer type. That's what I do.
Yes.
I try to heal people. But I had this concept, and so I said, okay, I'll make this video in a week. And so I contacted this one artist that I had worked with before, who had really fast turnaround and had turned around this art in like a day before.
Yeah.
And she didn't get back to me for like 3 days. And so I was like, oh, this isn't going to work out. But then she got back to me and did the art in like 3 hours.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, this is perfect. I paid her double for the record. I was like, that's insane.
Yes.
And so I released a roleplay video that is called Yandere Apothecary Heals You Forcefully. And it's about someone coming into my apothecarium and me basically drugging them and taking them to my basement to keep them safe, because they're clearly not taking care of themselves and they're like sick and overworking themselves and stressed out. Basically drugging them with like a love potion. And
this is something you hadn't thought of before, right?
I had never done it before.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I never thought of it. No, I mean,
okay.
I never thought about it.
No, never.
But I had heard that ASMR content is like big for VTubers and can lead to growth. I was not expecting for it to have 2,000 views in 6 days. So it's a little bit like, okay, well, I was already planning on doing occasional like ASMR videos, and I had done 2 voice packs, so like, paid merch, digital merch voice packs before that didn't do very well. But I think that's just because those are paid, and generally only your audience that you already have is interested in paying for something like that.
Yeah.
But this video did sort of blow up, and so now I do have the like, well, is it just because it's ASMR? Because if so, I can continue with that. If it's because it's like yandere content, that's a little bit harder for me. I don't know if I have it in me for any more. I just had the one.
That's a bitter pill to swallow at that point, but
a bit, yeah.
But still, that light goes on in the back of your head, like, oh, hello.
Yeah, but I mean, I also know that doesn't. These views most likely will not translate to views on my other content.
Right.
They want just the ASMR.
Yeah.
And so even though also I got, I think, 50 new subscribers from that, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for someone with 560 subscribers, it is significant.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is definitely significant. Yeah.
I have to pay attention to these things, and it's a little bit tough. I really wasn't expecting that amount of views, but
I can hear the shy, almost embarrassed smile as you said that.
Exactly. I do have that smile. You are perfectly reading me. Yes.
It's like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do? They really wanted.
They did, yeah. They really wanted it. I mean, I wanted to do some ASMR content in the future. I had interest in it. Yeah. Actually, this is really just voice acting, which is something I also had a big interest in when I was younger.
Yeah. Well,
my favorite, the most inspiring idol to me is a voice actress / idol. So to me, being like a voice actor was something I was interested in, but that's another dream I sort of gave up on because it's a super oversaturated market and very specific skill sets. And I just don't know if I'm ready to dedicate the amount of time and energy that is required for something like that.
Well, gravy, all the other stuff you do, when do you have time to do any of that stuff?
Oh God, I don't.
Yeah. I mean,
I just don't.
You're already doing 48 hours a day. What? You add another week to it? I mean, for Pete's sake.
I don't know.
What's it like having all of this actual talent?
I don't view it that way. That's the problem. I really like. To me, I view it as like I know how to do these things. Period. And that's it. I don't necessarily view myself as talented with them. And I'm slowly, very slowly, starting to try to view myself as having talent, because again, I struggle a lot with like self-esteem and confidence in that regard.
Well,
So that's really tough.
I will say it for everybody else. Stop that. You have a lot of talent.
Thank you. Yeah, it's tough, but I am working on it and I am getting better, you know.
Yeah. Well, folks, we're gonna have all it. This is not long enough to talk with you, so I hope you come back when we do it again.
Absolutely.
But we're gonna have all the links to what Lillie's got going on, and check out the Arium channel as well. You might see me stop in and harass Lillie a little bit. I do that with lots of Arium folks. It's fun. Um, thank you so much for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure meeting and talking with you and being fascinated by the person that you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Eric. It's been lovely.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.